Hey friends, this is Waylon of Elephant Journal, and I am back with yet another amazing guest. Today is one of my favorite kind of heroes, and she'll join in 1 second. If you're vegan, you know all about her. If you're not vegan, you now can become vegan because she made the most amazing, I'm particularly obsessed with the butter, but vegan offerings I've ever had. And she's gone through a lot of stuff lately, and we're going to get into it. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have her. So, Miyoko, I want to throw a lot of compliments your way for a second. I'm vegan. I've been vegan for a long time. I've written about veganism. We've done vegan recipes on Elephant Journal forever. You made my life and my recruiting life because some vegans claim they don't try to convert other people. I do. So much easier and so much more delicious and actually healthy. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. I mean, everyone plays the part. So,
Well, you played a huge part. I think, you played a part of like bringing actually good vegan butter into our lives, changed lives. I mean, butter is fundamental to all of life.
no, it really is. It was just one of the hardest things to give up. It's like, what do you put on your morning toast?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
not so
literally,
sure.
I should be like an advertisement for you guys because I would like have so many like the bricks of butter and, I'll respect your cheeses and your other stuff, but, the butter I was obsessed with. Partially because we have amazing bread here in Boulder. We have
Oh
amazing
my
bacon.
God. I bet you do. I bet you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Bread's
good.
come a long way in the United States. It used to be pretty crappy like 20, 30 years ago. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I grew up with like the hippie bread, and it was still basically like a healthy version of Wonder Bread
Yeah.
in plastic bags. And now it's so good. There's multiple bakeries here milling their own wheat, and it's getting better. We're learning as a society in some ways. So in other ways, we're not. You were fired from your own company.
Uh, that I was. Yes.
That's an intense statement, even to say out loud. How did it feel? I mean, you've been very open. I've really appreciated that, honestly, as an example to other entrepreneurs and humans and women and people of color, just being open about this
Yeah.
process.
I think, it's important to be open. Our system is designed to prevent transparency. Our system is designed to keep dark secrets hidden away, so that certain people, the powers that be, uh, don't look bad. I think that there's a lot of that,
There's a
and
lot of fear.
there's a lot of fear. Yeah, people are afraid to speak up because they're going to get in trouble, and off, and the system is designed to keep you trapped in a room, kind of unable to open it and tell people what's really going on. There's a lot of things that I can't disclose either, because I also want to protect myself. I don't want this to get any uglier than it has gotten, and I'm really hoping that there's going to be a resolution soon.
Well,
I
of
mean,
course,
all I can really
you don't
no,
want to damage the company you built.
no, no,
But
no,
that,
I don't want it. No, I put my heart and soul into this
yeah,
company for years, and so it was very, very painful to have that ripped away from me. I mean, all I can really talk about are my feelings, but yeah, do I want the company to succeed? Yes, of course. I mean, I don't want to see my baby, go under, for example, even if I'm not connected to it. So that is something that I think it's painful for a lot of entrepreneurs, and I have talked to so many over the last couple of months, so many entrepreneurs that have been kicked out of their own companies, and people outside of uh, this sector don't understand how it can happen. People say, "How can you be kicked out of your own company?" And it happens because, unfortunately, the way our system is designed, you have to have money to grow companies. You have to have funding. That's the reality. Gone are the days. I remember when I was first got into natural foods back in the early 1990s. You could actually kind of grow things organically in some ways. I mean, you still needed some money, but I had another meat alternative company back in the 1990s that I started, basically with a loan from the city of San Francisco and a few $1,000s that some friends of mine put in. But we're talking about, maybe $20,000, $30,000 total. That was it. But otherwise, it was this, this loan I got from the city of San Francisco, and I was able to grow this company to a fairly good size, national distribution. And you were able to do things kind of organically. It's gotten harder and harder to do that today. The expectation is you don't have a long runway like 10, 20, 30 years to grow a company. People want you to grow. The expectation is that you're going to grow really fast, and then you're going to flip the company. That is the model today because that's kind of what's expected. I mean, I think one of the issues is that we find ourselves at this point in human history where we do actually have to make uh, changes in the food system. So there is that urgency, even amongst entrepreneurs, to get that product out there as soon as possible and flood the marketplace and all of that. But at the same time, there's this expectation that if you're going to get product on shelf, you have to be a company that ramps up quickly. It's not like in the old days.
And
Yeah,
like you said, the whole system is brutal on small independent
it's
businesses.
and you can't be a small independent business anymore. I mean, you don't have a chance. It's either go big or go home. You can't get that shelf space. No one takes you seriously. I
And
mean,
you
it
end up
really
like no one is
no,
there who's really an ally.
no one is an ally anymore. I mean, when I talk about the 1990s when I started this business, I literally threw my products in the back of my Volvo station wagon and I drove around to the different Whole Foods in the Bay Area and I delivered them myself. And buyers were happy to see me on a weekly basis. They didn't charge me slotting fees or
Yeah.
anything like that. And so you could actually do things like that. Today, if you want distribution, but stores don't want to be buying from you directly. They want that one truck to come in, UNFI to come in once a week or 3 times a week or whatever. They want to get everything from one source because it makes their lives easier, which means that you got to get into the distributors. So that takes money. And
Well,
so
and then seeing Whole Foods bought by Amazon, the
yes,
antithesis of the movement
it's even
makes it
worse.
even
Yeah.
more intense. We have one comment from like vegan mom something. Sorry, I can't remember the whole handle. A lot of your art fans, including myself, are conflicted right now. I know it's an uncomfortable question given the legal state of things, but do we support Miyoko's right now? What do we do?
That's a really, really hard question. And I all I can say is I wish them well.
Yeah.
Uh, I hope that they stay true to the path of veganism and the mission with which that I started. And I wish them well. I'm not wishing that they sink or anything. At the same time, I'm also trying to find a new livelihood for ourselves. And I really do believe that we need to create a new economy. We need to head into we need to create a new economy that does encourage small businesses, that does encourage local markets, and that also empowers consumers to make more products themselves at home. So they're not reliant on consumer packaged goods, to fill the shelves. Like we need to start doing more DIY. And so, to that effect, yeah, I mean, I have all the cookbooks that I've written, but, I've started this little YouTube show. I've only got 2 episodes up so far, but every 2 weeks there'll be a new episode. And I want people to start making vegan cheese at home or butter at home or things like that. And when people find that they can do these things so easily and so quickly and cheaply, um, I think it's very empowering, very liberating. And I'd like to see an economy with more diversity of businesses, more producers of vegan cheese and butter, more cottage industries where we can support small operators and give everyone a chance to succeed following their own passion and mission rather than just betting on a handful of the large companies that are going to eventually get swallowed up by larger corporations. But that's where we're headed right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think Spielberg had some movie a few years ago of some grim future where everything's digital and virtual. And, you know,
Uh,
Whole Foods used to say before they were bought by Amazon, used to say, we are about the story, like where it came from, how it got there, how it was made. And Amazon literally is the opposite. I say we're about getting rid of the story. So it can like literally be a thought, a search, a click, a deliver in one day. And it's brutal on our planet, which we all love and we
and
all
that's
need.
So society and humanity will crumble
Yeah.
when we lose the human story, when
I
we
think
lose the why.
I think that this awful thing that has happened in a way frees you to become like an ambassador to wake us up to what's going on. And maybe that's even a more important role.
That's something I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about the fact that, I could only really promote the products that we were making, and I could really only promote the company. And I did give props to other vegan cheese companies, and because I always felt like it's really more of a collaboration than a competition. But I couldn't really. I don't know. I mean, I think we need to move towards, even what Dorsey of Twitter, the former CEO. I mean, he really wanted to make CEO of Twitter wanted to make it more open source. That was what he was actually initially going for. And obviously it's going in a completely opposite direction right
Yeah.
now. But I feel like we even need to sort of open source food. We need to open source. What I mean by open source food is the IP, the knowledge around things so that we can take power into our own hands because society is going to crumble. Humanity is going to crumble. We are becoming all disconnected. We are losing our stories. And it's just like that Spielberg movie or so many other movies that we've seen where we do just become automatons in the
Right.
future. And it's a very bleak, dark society. And I mean, I think it could be very, very real. It's quite scary. And all we really have as humans is each other. At the end of the day, that's all we really have. If we don't value that, we're screwed.
But the sad news, to come back to the story, because you were laying it out really well for people. People don't realize this. I live here in Boulder, Colorado. We have Naturally Boulder, this sort of wonderful trade organization. We have tons of natural products companies. But even those companies in that trade organization have turned into like, you know, first year farmers market, second year on the shelves, third year regional or national, fourth year, already tons of investment, fourth year sell out to the man who cares. And the man typically is white men who are wealthy and don't give a care about the integrity of the product. I think that's where people feel conflicted about the direction Miyoko's has decided to go without Miyoko.
Well, I'm not really involved anymore, so I don't know the direction that they're going. I mean, I hope they
Yeah.
stay in this direction. The same. I hope they will protect the foundation upon which I built the company. But I'm not part of it anymore. I still have shares in the company, but I'm not part of it. I don't know what's going on day to day. I don't know what their strategy is, their long term plan is. So I can't really
Yeah.
speak to that. We can only hope
Yeah.
and encourage them to stay along that path. We don't know. But overall, yes. I mean, the whole industry is moving into this idea of we got to sell to the highest bidder as soon as possible. And I met so many founders in the industry on day one when they start their company. They go, "Yeah, we're looking for an exit in 3 or 4 years, and we're hoping to make 4x or 10x or whatever." It's like, why are you thinking? Are you in it for the mission, or are you in it to flip the company? And so I'm I don't know. I mean, this led me to really to sort of push back against a lot of, I guess, my I don't know, my I don't know what they are, that the people in the industry, in the so-called plant-based or alternative protein or food tech, whatever you want to call it. But I just wonder, like, how many of you are really in it to change the trajectory of the world? Because if you're in it to change the trajectory of the world, you can't change it just with a product. You have to actually change the entire system, the economic system behind that product, because we're rewarding investors and large corporations with the way it's set up right now. In other words, let me put it this way. One way, so there's something called market-based solution, and everyone's putting their money in that. What they mean by that is all we have to do, yeah, there's a problem with animal agriculture and animal products. So all we have to do is switch out the products and then we're fine. Well, the fact of the matter is, yeah, we do need those alternative products, but that's the solution. First of all, the general American public needs to be aware that there is a problem to begin with for which a solution is needed. And most people are still unaware that there is even a problem. That's where activism comes in. But there's no money in activism. Throughout history, every social cause has only been won through activism, whether it was, um, whether it was slavery or women's rights or whatever it was through activism. It wasn't because someone came up with a new product. And so we need activism even today, but there's no money in activism. You don't make money through grassroots movements. You can only make money by market-based solutions. In other words, in terms of a product. And therefore, there's no interest in changing hearts and minds because there's no money in it. You can't make money from activism. And that's the problem
And we're
right now.
seeing, and we're seeing the
So-
same thing. I would argue that journalism, good journalism, real journalism, also plays a vital role, you know, in societal change. It helps, you know,
That's a form of activism, in my
Right.
opinion. That's
yeah,
sharing
it helps give
information.
attention to
Yep.
Me Too.
Yep.
But there's no money in journalism anymore. It's
There's
all
no money in
fueled by
journalism anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's
Instagram
all
and
of that.
Facebook and
Right.
Twitter and whatever.
And so the real danger is that we are letting big money control the future of the planet and the future of humanity. Because what products get on shelves, it's solely determined by the investors. How these products show up in the world, it's solely determined by the money, because they decide where they invest and who gets to lead, and who gets to tell the story. And so we are consolidating. And one of the biggest problems is that we're consolidating that power into fewer and fewer hands. Um, if you remember back 30, 40 years ago, there were no venture capitalists putting money into natural food. That didn't exist. But it does today. So if we want to change the world, if we really want to change the food system, then, you know, I don't know. I know a lot of people that are like, I want to change the food system, so I'm going to go start a new fund. I just don't think that's the way anymore. We really, yes, someone says we must simplify. I think we need to simplify. We need to give power back to the people
Yeah.
that can embrace both activism and market-based solutions. In other words, small businesses that can serve their communities. We're also robbing power from small businesses, Black-owned businesses, culturally diverse businesses, because they don't have a chance to grow. And we're just going to have this sameness controlled by white men. I'm sorry, but I have this thing about white men now. So sorry if you're a white man. I don't mean to insult you, Waylon, or anybody else. But seriously, I mean, you look around the VCs, it's like 95% white guys.
Well, I mean, again, I'm covered the natural products industry here, and I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah, it's really, really sad, and
But we're part of that problem in my
we
view. I'm like a Boulder cliche. I'm like a cyclist. I don't have a car. I'm vegan. I rescue puppy and whatever. And we have a zero waste. I'm zero waste. We have a zero waste, woman-owned, local-owned grocery store here.
That's fantastic.
99% of my own friends shop at Amazon. Some people call it Whole Foods. Amazon, and most of the good people at Whole Foods have quit by now. So we have to change. We can drive supply demand. And I think you're kind of getting to that. Like, it's not just enough to make alternatives.
Right.
In plastic. Like I go to Trader Joe's, it's like a sea of plastic.
That's all it is. Yeah. I mean, so what if it's plant-based? It's something, I mean, that was the same thing in Miyoko's. We were using a lot of plastic too. And because you cannot find compostable packaging. And then even if you have compostable packaging for refrigerated goods, they don't really break down unless you put it into a municipal composter. And most municipalities don't have those systems. So I'm like, there's just so many problems with our current economics of the food system that at this point in my life, I feel like, yeah, I want to encourage people to actually buy fewer products and actually start making more items at home.
I think you got
make your own.
A revolution. You're talking about.
I'm talking about a revolution. Yes.
And about like a peaceful revolution.
Yes. I am talking about a big. Yes. And I couldn't have done that when I was CEO of Miyoko's. I can do that now. I mean, it's where I started actually.
Done it, but you may not have had time. You were working very hard for us.
This is where I started though. When I first started, before I started Miyoko's, all I was doing was open sourcing recipes, teaching cooking classes, writing cookbooks, giving free talks everywhere. and just trying to empower every single consumer out that I could touch. And I think that's where I want to go back. I want to sell the lifestyle. I want people to embrace the lifestyle, not to buy products. Just buying vegan products doesn't make you vegan. It's you got to embrace the entire lifestyle.